All right, so here, this is Listen Next 730. So this is recording 730. Again, you can find me at ChristinaStation918.com. Okay, so anyway, I went and decoded more about Jimi Hendrix. Remember last I talked to you about Jimi Hendrix in my earlier podcast? I said that I think he's still alive, but I don't know for sure. It could have been people impersonating him. So I really don't know. But this is more for Jimi Hendrix and his family. So decoding more of Jimi Hendrix and her taking of his life, it's connected to Jimmy. She links Jimi Hendrix to Jimmy Lopez. And Jimmy Lopez was one of the Marines that was held hostage in Iran in 1979. Okay, and he was the one from Globe, the same town I was from. All right, and then it links inside of that is linked Emerald Avenue, the street that I lived on in the future, now past, in like 1984 or 1985. So it's all inside here, so you can go and connect all this. This is all linked together. So also point out September 18th, 1970, he was 27, and then London, England. Okay, so now I am changing subjects and telling on Gene again, but in a different manner. So this happened the other night when I was going to sleep. So Jean has like this tunnel pathway that she's tunneled underneath my neighborhood. I live on 79th. Here, 61170 79th, here in Tulsa. So she's dug underground all kinds of passageways under here. So I told you, I know there's already undergrounds at the intersection of 71st and Sheridan, but I think she connected it all the way up through here to under my street, which it probably could go all the way up underneath to the next intersection. So anyway, she runs back and forth. So she's got people that literally go underneath the neighborhood here, and it goes in all directions. They're coming from 2 streets up. So like 75th or so, and then underneath the house, but then they also come from the direction of underground from Sheridan towards my house underground. So people are getting pissed about it, but no one will do anything about it. And all people get back is the police said we could, or it's the military. And neither is true. And people can't get down there to get people down there. And there used to be actual like rock stars, because they've got rock star hideouts underneath Tulsa too, and they've got all kinds of things going on underground. But there used to be actual rock stars that would go underneath all in this area, but Jean has like siphoned it off, and it's all her and her freaking derelicts running around back and forth. So they get under there, they commit terrorism, they probably have little demon freaking seance setups under there, and then they excite themselves, if you know what I'm saying. So anyway, the other night she was under my house with the girl that I call the zipper licker, and they were acting like they were hot shit and they get away with anything, they're above the law, and they're just like the baddest of the bad. And it's all people that Jean has recruited to help her sell lies and make sure they worship Jean and cover Jean's ass so Jean can continue getting away with icing babies and kids and committing terrorism. And no, I'm not exaggerating. I know you guys have gone through and listened to every crime, and I know you know that Jean Roberts and her Manson Nicole have been committing these crimes. So they literally think that they're just like the criminalist, hottest shit of the world, okay? So anyway, they're under the house, and they're stupid. Like, as soon as they get underneath the house, and people listen to my brains, they can hear them. And it's like, people are like, oh my God, oh my God. So anyway, I told her, like, in my brain, and like I got up in my room and I'm like pointing at the freaking floor, and like I told her to like leave, and I know she could see like the movements, for those of you guys who don't know, you probably do know, but like the technology is like, it's supernatural now. I mean, we've got ice, okay? So the military has technology, and so does everybody else besides the military. I mean, technology is technology. You can get anywhere, but you can see through doors, you can see through walls. I mean, the military like is in aircraft that literally hovers in the sky hidden where you can't see them. It's freaking astounding. It's completely astounding. But anyway, so it shouldn't be like a big deal or like, oh my God, Christina's crazy. No, it's not, because I know the technology. So anyway, I know that they can see me from the sky if they happen to be looking in, and I know from underneath the ground, if they have the technology pointing up, they can see the shadows, they can see the light, they can see the infrared. When I had infrared activated in my eyes in Dallas, which I don't have that technology activated here, they won't let it get to Tulsa. So I know they can see me pointing to the floor, telling them to freaking leave. But anyway, she goes real snotty. She goes, and she's making a reference to 9/11. The World Trade Center attack, and without any emotion, any regard to anything, she goes, "That hurts," is what she said. I don't know why the bitches aren't murdered. I don't know why they're let to run freaking wild with their damn demon occult running back and forth, acting like the military and police is giving them a pass to terrorize its citizens. But that's what they've been doing. So anyway, all right, so moving forward. So AIW 1970s again when I lived on 11th or 12th Street. Okay, so you know Mrs. Keegan lived next door to me. So here's something else. Okay, so Michael Keaton, the actor, that's where his name comes from, is Mrs. Keegan. And then who was his wife in one of his movies? Terry Garr. And what's my aunt's name? Terry. And then what is the famous fish in Slidell, Louisiana, the scary fish? Garfish. So anyway, so Michael Keaton, so look, it goes Michael Keaton. Now, Michael Keaton played Batman, okay? So Weatherford, remember, see all my podcasts on everything on Weatherford, Oklahoma, okay? So remember I told you she's got a Satan's lair there, okay? So Weatherford, so you know Mrs. Keegan is custard, okay? So it goes back to my childhood, AIW 70s with the custard. Okay, so Gene is like trying to connect everything together throughout my life. And then I realized that like the United States is being taken over by a goddamn satanic occult. So anyway, so Custard's Last Stand is making a reference to Custard County in Weatherford, Oklahoma. And then that would connect Michael Keaton playing the role of Batman to Weatherford. So now I'm like, what the heck is freaking down there? Like, now I want to see what's underneath Weatherford. So anyway, I told you there's a gigantic hideout underneath Weatherford. So also, moving ahead, so See All Code: A Christmas Story. It's my favorite Christmas movie. Okay, so all the podcasts on all A Christmas Story. So she used my favorite line. This has always been my favorite line from A Christmas Story. And the little kid has an aviator hat on with the goggle glasses, which it looks like he's got a little freaking Illuminati mask on. But I'm just pointing out the aviator hat, where he's then standing in line to see Santa, and he goes, "I like the Wizard of Oz." So, okay, so it's like my favorite line in the whole movie because it's so freaking hilarious because it's so random. So anyway, okay, so in that line is it making a reference to, you can see Steve Wozniak in there. And then you can see 70s, The Wiz. The Wiz came out in the 70s. And then a reference to Quiz Wiz. Quiz Kid. Quiz Wiz was something I got for Christmas when I was really little, when I lived in Globe. Okay, so I'm like, oh my God, that's connected to my Quiz Wiz. So then I went and looked up my Quiz Wiz to see what more is on my Quiz Wiz. I went and looked up the old Quiz Wiz. So Anyway, I can see on the case of it, there's all kinds of stuff on it that's showing the future Oklahoma City bombing that she plans, the future World Trade Center attack that she plans. So, but I want to go over the numbers with you. So if you take 4800 minus 1001, that's 3799. If you take 3799 minus 2100, that's 1699 or 1969. So again, Charles Manson. So 1978 minus 71, and then you have 7 in parentheses, and then 78 minus 6, and you have 2 in parentheses, and then you have 78 minus 37, you have 14 in parentheses, and then also know, obviously, 7 times 2 is 14. So those numbers all work out. So then you have 419, and then you have FBID, and then you have 1411, and then you have what's also out there now called 411, which is all about the missing, which is what I'm trying to turn Gene Jernigan Roberts in for committing terrorism and holding people hostage. So then 411, and then Family Affair. Now remember, I decoded her stalking of Mary J. Blige in the 80s. You have to see the podcast on that, and I was like, how does this connect to Al Gore? Because Al Gore was in it. So anyway, I'm like, what does she have to do with Al Gore? So and I was like, so you have to at least see my earlier podcast on that. So Mary J. Blige, who I love, my whole family loves her. She came out with like my favorite song ever called Family Affair. So this is all going back to the 70s. So it's making a reference to not Mary J. Blige, but how Mary J. Blige, another artist that everybody loves, music was controlled via ICE, or however it went about. She's icing them. They go through everything. They can tell if it's ICE, if people were iced, or if people are involved at this point. Everybody pretty much knows everything at this point. So not like, please stop. They don't know everything you decode, but like when you go through stuff that you decode, when I go through stuff that I decode, they know a lot of it already because they go and do the research on it. But then they always get all the new information that you provide, which provides them more research, that's how everybody's able to find all the criminals. Okay, so Family Affairs. So that's making a reference to, oh my God. So you can tell these are the same people. It's Gene Jernigan Roberts. It's not these people. It's Gene fucking Roberts, Navy Gal 27 at yahoo.com, who did the World Trade Center attack and her Manson occult. So, you know how the 70s AIW ciphers is all around like soap operas and pop culture TV shows. So this is another one. So it is the TV show Family Affair. So then FBAD is in it, then RAID is in it, then RAID, RAYD in it, and then you know my family, they love Sea Rays, that's in it. Then FVAF is in it, Partridge Family is in it, Oak Ridge Boys is in it, then the siege at Ruby Ridge. So even before that happened, that was pre-planned, which brings me to something I want to bring up. I want to point out a couple of recordings back where I'm talking about how she's using like Fall Guys. They're all guilty. It's just that Gene Roberts keeps getting away with it. And she keeps claiming she's some like cop or some agent. No, she's fucking not. So she did that when she killed people in the Charles Manson murders. Between her and Patricia Krenwinkel, they all have fall. They're like, you take the fall now, and then later on, da 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 da. Okay, so she did that with the Charles Manson murders. She did that in Waco because she started the Waco occult with David Koresh. But she walked the hell right out of it. She started it with 2 of her Manson sisters with David Koresh. David Koresh, everybody knows who he is, and Gene Jernigan Roberts just walks the hell right out of it. So I'm like, no, Gene, you're not going to be fucking getting away with it this time. You're not walking out of Waco. You're going to jail. You did the World Trade Center attack and Oklahoma City bombing. So it goes with the patterns of now everybody realizing and finally understanding and finally getting it that Gene Roberts and Ted Kaczynski are in Gene Roberts' Manson occult. Jean Jernigan Roberts herself is the leader of Charles Manson. Ted Kaczynski is in her Manson occult. So creating fall guys and trade-offs, like she tries to pretend like she's me today. And then she'll act like I'm in cahoots with her. No, I'm trying to turn your ass in, bitch. I'm trying to turn you in. So anyway, so the siege at Ruby Ridge, then Daft, and then Draft. So that goes to beer and then fire and then ale and then Bell Systems. Okay, so again with the Bell Systems. So I was told by her own people who keep hijacking the phone lines and the internet and everything else, walking around like they're hot shit and telling everybody they own everything right along with Gene. And they're all just like a big gigantic Pat Benatar video. So they're like, we own the country, we own everything, that's all Gene Jernigan Roberts and Manson and cult. So they said that they're Alexander Graham Bell descendants and they can do anything they want. Okay, so note that Alex, which I know you guys already know, so I know you already know that Gene Roberts did the Charles Manson, did the World Trade Center attack and Oklahoma City bombing. But here's more evidence of this. So you've got Bell Systems, and you've got the creation of 1411 or 411 information, and then Bell, B-E-L-L-E, and then Beetlejuice, she used that too. And then she makes a reference to Bellevue. Bellevue is a famous, you know, Bellevue. Locally, people will lie to people here and they'll blame it on music, and then people will go like, oh my God, the music. No, it's in the music because it's freaking famous. Bellevue is a famous psycho hospital. Okay. So anyway, Alexander Graham Bell. And then she took my Uncle Jeff's life, Gene Jernigan Roberts. Okay. She did the World Trade Center attack and she killed my Uncle Jeff on the morning of 9/11. My Uncle Jeff worked for Hewlett Packard, and then you have Packard Bell. So also you have for operator assisted information, look at this. For operator assisted information, though some areas used 113, so that would be my birthday, 11/13 in the 30s, until they used 113 instead of 114 until the 60s or 80s. So then you have the 1968 reference there, and then you have the 14 reference there. So then if you take 1969 minus 1699, you have 270. And then this also connects, her predecessors also did the 1666 London fire. So the year also, so I went back to go see what happened in 1699. The year 1699 marked significant shifts in the power and exploration highlighted by the Treaty of Karlowitz, ending the Ottoman expansion in Europe and the founding of France's Louisiana colony at Fort Maurepas in Iberville. Russia's Peter the Great began westernization by changing the New Year's date, while in North America, pirate Captain Kidd was arrested in Boston, and English explorer William Dampier explored Australia's coast. Sikhism also saw the creation of the Khalsa by Guru Gobind Singh. So anyway, so there's Morse's linking to the Ottoman Empire. Okay, so see all code on Ottoman Empire. So then, switching subjects again. So on a couple recordings back where I was talking about her Annie and Oliver, which is throughout all of these recordings, everything is all linked together. So something else I'll point out, which I already decoded this, but this also goes to it, is she's using the word anti, A-N-T-I, and then she's also using ante, A-N-T-E, which is the kitty or the pot. So you know what she did there. So anyway, that is that for this recording.